One of the riskiest lectures I ever gave was a few pictures with no words. And those were just cases. And I would put a picture up. It was a patient with a certain condition or conditions, and we would talk. What do you think is going on? What do you think we can do? Imagine if the patient has XYZ concerns. And I would start twisting the scenarios back and forth and see what they think, and then talk options, treatment plans, what would you do in this situation and that situation. And surprisingly, that was the best feedback I ever got on a lecture. And even I was surprised. But students loved it. They loved the engagement. And my advice would be to have as much engagement as your discipline would allow or the lecture topic would allow. Sometimes it's not really possible. But what I learned from that was the more the engagement, the more everyone is going to be more, I would say, willing to learn or more accepting to learning.
That is a really good example of a prediction activity, which you can use even in a large lecture by having a slide that gets students guessing the answer to a question or what might be coming up in the lecture, but also in a class, a small class, this kind of visual where students try to figure out what it is. Cognitive research shows that this is a very powerful tool to motivate curiosity. And when students are curious, they learn much more deeply than you telling them what it is and you telling them what the answers are. So that's a great example of a tool you could pull out anytime in any kind of class.
Also, to follow up, the class setting that I was in, it was about 100 students and it was an auditorium, so it was not a small class.
I last year created a new assignment that was a kind of service learning assignment for my students to edit a pre-existing online module about conservation biology that the Museum of Natural History has put together. And I had them work in groups on that. It was their major assignment for the semester, and they had to go to the museum and present it to the executive team of the part of the museum that worked on that. It went okay. It was not like a great assignment because I think there was not enough creativity in it for my students because they were basically taking something that had been written 12 or 15 years ago and updating it. And so I don't think it was the best assignment, but I'm glad that I tried it, although I don't think I'll repeat it. This semester, I love taking these risks. I'm going to assign a pretty small assignment for students to, and again, it's editing, but to edit a Wikipedia page because of the problems with Wikipedia. But there's a whole online setup that Wikipedia has created for people to use that as a learning tool. And I think that that's kind of embedded in a larger assignment for them to dive deep on one species. But I will report back to you on how that goes next year.
I really hate just standing in front of my students and producing ideas and talking at them. At the beginning of the class, I give them pretty much a really huge question that they can't possibly answer in that amount of time and have them think about it and take notes for 5 minutes and then write for 10. Then I ask them for some of the things that they came up with. If they've all just been writing on it and thinking about it for 15 minutes, they're all going to have something that they think about it.